Man, Tyson Fury walking away from the Deontay Wilder fight. But first, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the videos. Don't believe all the bullish. I mean, this is my thoughts on the whole thing. Don't get caught up with everything that comes from that particular camp. Um, can't count the number of times in the last couple of months where Tyson Fury and his team said that they weren't going to fight Deontay Wilder, that they, quote, were moving on. How many times they said, they're going to do a tune-up fight, or they're going to do a fight in the UK or whatever, prior to doing the Deontay Wilder fight. We've heard this time and time and time and time again. How many times they said, oh, we're working on an Anthony Joshua fight. If that's the fight they want to do, a fight for, quote, undisputed. All these things that we've heard time and time and time and time again. And then he flips around and says, oh, the only person he's focused on is Deontay Wilder. Oh, the only person who's going to fight is Deontay Wilder. And that keeps going on and on and on and on and on and on. It's always a new story, and people just keep jumping into it. So now this is the new thing that, Deontay Wilder's past the deadline, so that they're done with the fight and they're going to just move on and go do something else. No, that's not what's going to happen. Absolutely not. Just straight up, just due to finances. It would be asinine to do so. Number one, if he fought somebody else, he would somehow need to fight. He does not have a license in the UK. That's the main thing. He does not have a license in the UK. Even if he, quote, got a license in the UK, I'm not sure what the purpose will even be to fight in the UK, because you can't have a crowd at all. But it also doesn't make any sense for you to fight somebody that's not credible in the United States, because no one wants to see it in the United States when he does that. So you're not really going to make any kind of money off of that. Then let's hypothetically say, like I said, the Anthony Joshua fight happens. Anthony Joshua fight happens, that's a big fight in the UK, period. Same issues. You don't have a crowd. Even if you were able to have a crowd and pack up a stadium, the record gate, I think, for the UK is what? 8 million? 7 million something? That's the record gate, because there's a max to how much you can charge when it comes to those tickets. So you fight over there, it's like 7 million, 8 tops. That's your big record. Wilder versus Fury, I think the last one did over 17 million at the gate. And then pay-per-views, you got your $20 pay-per-views, $20. It's all right. Do the fight, and that's it. There's no U.S. pay-per-view. No one in the United States is paying for that fight. That's a big fight in the UK, period. A lot of people from the UK might not like to hear that, but that's just the truth. It's a big fight in the UK, period. That's it. So, but when you fight Deontay Wilder, fights Tyson Fury, let's say in the United States, it's a different story, because you're gonna, even if you can only have a partial crowd, you can do it in a big place. Like right now, they're available in Texas. You can do a stadium, whether it be in Texas or whether it be in Vegas, where you can still get a good amount of that money. You're definitely going to get that 8 million at minimum. You're going to at least get that you would 7-8 million that you would make from the Anthony Joshua Tyson Fury fight if they were able to pack out a stadium of 90,000 plus in the UK. That's number one. And then number two, when it comes to pay-per-views, $79, $80 in the United States, and you're going to do over 1 million pay-per-views doing that. But that doesn't end there. You're also going to have another 400,000 plus they're going to pay. And especially after what happened with the last fight, the UK is going to be even more interested in this fight. You're probably looking anywhere from 600,000 to 800,000 pay-per-views in the UK on top of that. Big difference. And then also in the United States, all these different bars and everything, they charge them basically whatever a bar holds, they charge them by that. They don't just pay the $79.99. They pay thousands of dollars in order to be able to hold those fights. Thousands. And that's bars across the entire United States that would be doing that. We're talking about a substantial amount of money. Well, in the bars that are actually allowed to have people. And bars they have They had to cut down the amount of people that would be allowed in there, but they still are allowed to have people in there, like restaurants and things of that nature. Most of the parts of the United States, you can have people in your restaurants. It's just the amount of people you can have there is now minimized, and obviously they also have rules. So you're still gonna make a killing when it comes to that. And the biggest part, Wilder versus Tyson Fury, is a 60-40 split Fury's way. 60%. 60% of that fight is going to be substantially more money than that side would get than a 50-50 with a Anthony Joshua. And that fight's not going to happen, by the way, just so in case you're wondering. It's not going to happen. Okay, Anthony Joshua, they turned out a $50 million upfront deal versus Deontay Wilder, with a $30 million for the rematch. That's $80 million, not including the upside. They turned all that down, shoved it away, said, nah, we good. 80 plus, so you're talking over 100 million over two fights. They just turned that down. Like, nah, we good. We're straight. And they continue with their plan because they have an 8+ year plan for Anthony Joshua. They're not gonna put Anthony Joshua in any situation that could mess that up. Okay, they already had a fluke that happened where he ended up getting stopped, but they were able to come back and he was able to regain that title. They're not putting him into a situation with someone like a Tyson Fury that's tall, that lanky, that heavy, that has that movement that he does. It'll be a boxing lesson for that dude. It'll be a one-sided just boxing match. You know, with Tyson Fury went easily over a 12-round decision. They're not putting him in a situation like that. They're not going to put him in a situation with a Deontay Wilder, which for someone who's susceptible to getting hit with right hands, you're not going to put him in against the king of hitting you with right hands, one that, especially with someone that separates your soul from your body when he hits you. It's not going to happen. So that fight's not going to happen. They're not going to do that. They're going to go straight to Pulev. Then from Pulev, it's going to be Usyk. He's probably going to drop his WBA or whatever belt. Usyk's going to have a fight where he's going to become the champion. And then Anthony Joshua's going to come back to retrieve his belt and get that belt back in a unification against Usyk. That's what's happening with that situation. Tyson Fury's not going to be in there. You know? And Tyson Fury's not going to, when he, quote, let's say he was even able to do it, a lot of hypotheticals, let's say he was able to go ahead and walk away from the Wilder fight, he fights somebody else, and all of a sudden now you can't do the Anthony Joshua fight, then what? We're going to come back to Wilder now, all right, yeah, we want to do that 60-40. They ain't going to do no 60-40 after that. You know? So you're going to end up losing money anyway if that other fight doesn't, you know, you're already going to lose money, but you're really going to lose money if that fight doesn't match rate. And also the biggest thing is, we all know with Tyson Fury, he fights down to the level of competition. So you're also risking the fact that he fights what if he fights a lower tier fighter and he gets his face split open again, and this time the refs aren't going to just sit there and let this thing just keep going, or that commission's not going to just let that keep going and they end that fight. Or they split him up bad to the point now where he's really gushing out and they cannot continue. It's impossible. Where now he's gushing and they have to end that fight. And all of a sudden he has this big, huge loss and you lose everything. You know, Bob Arum and his side have too much invested in that. They purchased that man and they purchased his services literally for this situation, for a Deontay Wilder fight in the rematch. And they want to make a substantial amount of money off of that. And if the Tyson Fury fight then happens, cool. Which Bob Arum doesn't even think is going to happen. He thinks Anthony Joshua is going to lose to Pulev. That's another thing. What if Anthony Joshua ends up getting clipped and loses to Pulev? Then what? And now Tyson Fury's already had this other fight. Now what? The rematch with Pulev's going on. Now what? Think I'm going to now go down to Wilder. Hey, I'll give you that 40. I'll give you that 40% now. Now Wilder can go do 2 fights, show that he's back, and he can fight Andy Ruiz in the pay-per-view in the United States. That'll do 500,000 plus pay-per-views all day. And especially if everything's all good by then, you're looking at a $15+ million gate all day. Easy breezy. and he's straight. He's gonna have that option available to him. He can work towards becoming a WBA mandatory, becoming an IBF mandatory. Where then somebody's gonna have to make the decision where he's gonna fight Deontay Wilder, or he's gonna let go of his belt. You know, he has other options. Even if it came down to that, don't forget even the litigation. Once that litigation goes down, and they lose that in court, and all of a sudden ESPN and Top Rank has to come off 30 plus Deontay Wilder. Could get ugly. But, you know, I think it's all BS. I think he's just talking out of his ass, as usual. And I think it's much ado about nothing. It's just them talking, trying to bring clout, trying to bring attention towards them. Because Deontay Wilder's sitting in the cut, relaxing, and he's not saying a word. And they keep trying to say things to bait him, to get him into conversations. Because it seems as if he's not talking, then they can't get that notoriety, that pull towards them that they want. But next couple of weeks, we'll see if I might or not. You know? But for now, like, subscribe, share, out.